Or did you notice like a when you got to like the United States, like kind of like the racial element, like because of the skin color, like, but in
Bro,
Miami, it's like, well, yeah, because some people might not know you're Cuban, you're right,
I
because you're
love that
based
you
off, yeah.
asked that question because I find myself talking about this very often, very often. Um, so I lived in Miami until 2015. Not 2015. I graduated. I lived in Miami until 2016, and then I went on a soccer scholarship to St. Louis, Missouri, random spot.
Mm-hmm.
But Midwest place, and there's definitely like segregation right there. There's
Yeah.
it's Mexicans, like even if you're not just Mexican, like if you speak Spanish, they'll consider you that. It's they got little subgroups. They have like Bosnians. For some reason, I feel like this. I think that the second population, like the second largest population of Bosnians, aside from Bosnia, it's in San Luis. But they're part of the whites to me. So they got that. They got black, whites, and Mexicans. It's that division. They have a couple Middle Eastern people and all that. But all over the United States, you have all type of immigrants. But for example, the N word is taken way more under consideration in a place like that than it is in Miami, and it's just because Miami is like highly I feel like culturally advanced. I mean, that doesn't excuse anybody from using the N word in a derogatory term or whatever.
Yeah.
But I know that it's way more normal to hear a non-black person say it in Miami than it is in other places. So to answer your question, um, being black, bro, you experience racism everywhere. In Cuba, people say that it's not racism, but there is racism. There is systemic or systematic racism.
Yeah.
And also the reason why they say it's not racism over there is because in Cuba we're not segregated at all. Blacks, whites, tans. Everybody lives in the same neighborhood. There's not such thing as a black neighborhood, which exists in Miami, but there's not such thing as a segregated like area where it's just black people here and white people here. So that was odd for me coming over. Um, and racism. What happens in Cuba is that for example, like everybody's friends, and they'll be like, "Oh, what's up?" Like, minero, like, yeah, my nigga, like, everybody is like, it's all love. But for example, me being black, I've been like a couple girls' first black boyfriend. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to that, their parents go like, "Oh, you feel me? That's different."
Is it in Cuba or here?
In Cuba, here too.
Yeah.
Oh, low key here too. I feel like that's just everywhere though. Like I feel like if you go to England and there's a white family and the daughter brings a black boyfriend in, not everybody of course, but most people, especially just older generations, but even people contemporary. Because I've had friends that don't consider themselves racist, and they're my friends, they're my brothers, but I know because I've heard from them, they're comfortable enough to express themselves this way around me. I know that they wouldn't date a black girl. I know that they worry about growing up having a daughter and the daughter dating a black brother. This scenario doesn't even exist. You know what I'm saying?
That's hilarious.
That's racist.
That's hilarious.
That's racist.
Bro.
You know why? Because
Wow.
my guy, how you gonna tell me you wouldn't date a black person, bro? It's not you like what you like. But I've seen scenarios where it's just like this person likes this person, and the only blockage that they experience is that, and it all comes from society and how you're gonna be viewed or whatever, which shouldn't matter anyways. But these people wouldn't, even though they like the person, they wouldn't date them just because they're black.
Yep.
You know, Like damn, like everything. She's beautiful. She's good. She's a good person. La, 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 la. But he black. But she black. What? You know what I'm saying? You racist if you think like that. Because how are you gonna tell me that you're gonna restrain yourself from this interaction that you want just because of the fact, just because of a person's skin color? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, yeah, like there's not segregation. There's not that racism still exists, kind of like still in people's mind. I feel like this is the generation that's changing that. Just because I observe what's up. I observe, you know, for during high school there was a term for a second that was jungle fever.
Oh yeah.
And I was like I saw some girls being proud of having jungle fever. They don't care. They're like, bro, I love my black people. You know
All right,
what I'm
man. Hold on. Let me add something to that because I have to, man. So, but there's always been that. There's always been the population that, you know, feels one way about like interracial, you know, relationships. But then you also get the people who love that. Like they're all for it. They all throughout history, it's always been like that. And you're right, now it's becoming more like you can see it more. You can see people, you know, putting down their guards a little bit easier. But I feel like that's going to be an issue for a big chunk of time, at least for our generation. You know? It's always going to be there. It's just now it's more, you can see it more because of the internet, right? Before we didn't have that. We didn't know what was happening down the street. You know, you would have to physically get up and go there or hear it from word of mouth. But now you see it all. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Deep Thoughts.
If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. Our link tree is in the description, and you can check out previous videos on the YouTube channel. If you're watching on Apple Podcasts, leave a rating and a review. Maybe we'll read it on the podcast one of these days.
After you leave that rating and review, be sure to share it with friends, family. You know, Deep Thoughts. Come on, family. Let's get it. Let's grow.
Y'all take care. Peace.